On this episode of the Quietly Thriving Show, I am talking about the concept of easy, and that easy does not necessarily mean that you're not putting an effort or not working hard. Because when you understand this, it makes it a lot easier to get into alignment, invite ease into your life, and experience your life on an entirely different level. So, this is for you if you get triggered by the idea that creating your business, creating your life, and doing it in a way that feels easy is just not possible. Hi, I'm Vicki Regina of the Quietly Thriving Show. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the concept of easy. This is something that a lot of people, I believe, get wrong and they don't understand what easy actually means. And when that happens, we end up putting blocks in our path that is not allowing us to experience more ease in our life. So I want to talk about that because I like to talk about this in reference to, the introverts out there. And I like to talk about when you learn what it really means to be an introvert, because most introverts don't actually understand what it means. But when you learn what it means and you learn how you can honor your introversion and how you can embrace it, then I like to say life gets a lot easier. I also hear a lot of other coaches talking about, if you're, business coaches talking about, when you get into, alignment for your business, things get easier. Also human design, which is something that I love. And I'm actually working on my own certification for that. When you get into alignment with your design, things get easier. And I 100% agree with that. I understand the word easy through a little bit of a different lens. And I didn't think about the fact that other people may not be thinking of it this way. And what led me to realize that is I was recently listening to a podcast of, she's a business owner. She helps other women business owners. I love her. She probably has a 7-figure business. If not 7-figure, then definitely high 6-figure, and she's very successful. I admire her a lot. And I was listening to her podcast and she was she was interviewing somebody and they were talking about this idea of, building a business and making it easy. And she was saying, she got a little triggered by that. And she was saying, I've worked really hard to build this business. I spent years working really hard. And I think it's unfair to talk about, building a business, and making it easy. And I realized in that moment that she didn't understand what maybe those business coaches, certainly the way I think about easy, she didn't understand what that actually meant. And I realized if she didn't understand that, probably a lot of other people don't as well, which is why I really wanted to come on and talk about this as today's episode. Because when you believe that easy is if the concept of making your life easy triggers you, then you're putting up roadblocks that's preventing you. I think I just said this, but you're putting up these roadblocks that's preventing you from actually experiencing it. So let's dig into this. Now, I believe that, most people think easy is things that don't take effort. If you're building a business and it's easy, well, then you're just sitting back watching Netflix and just business is rolling in. If you are trying to go out and find the love of your life, if it's easy, then again, you're just sitting at home watching Netflix, but the perfect partners are knocking down your door with no effort. And that is one way to view the word easy. Yes, obviously, if you're putting in no effort, that is easy or effortless. But when we're talking about getting into alignment, whether that's alignment with your human design, whether that's an alignment with your introverted gifts and strengths, whether it's an alignment for your goals and your values and, what you want out of your life, when you get into alignment, that doesn't mean that you don't have to work hard or that you're not going to be working hard. It doesn't mean that you're sitting back doing nothing, putting in no effort. That's not what easy means. What it means is that you're no longer going down a path that's filled with resistance because you're on the wrong path. And that could be the wrong path because you're working towards somebody else's goals that you're not clear about. It could be the wrong path because you are working on things through other people's expectations of how you're supposed to show up. So when I'm talking about my introvert stuff, it's when introverts are trying to pretend to be an extrovert or faking that extrovert way and thinking there's only one way to do it. And so they go down that path, and there's a lot of resistance for that. The resistance could be from, trying to push yourself outside of, your comfort zone in a way that, again, that isn't aligned to your strengths and to your gifts. So when you are approaching life, regardless of what it is, when you're approaching life from that perspective, it's going to be hard. You're going to hit a lot of resistance. You're going to hit resistance outside of you. You're going to hit resistance within you. But when you get into alignment with your values, your goals, your strengths, your gifts, your preferred way of doing things, your human design, whatever it is, when you get into alignment with that, as an introvert, when you understand what your gifts are, you understand that, being an introvert does not mean that you're shy or awkward, that it doesn't mean that you can't go out and talk, that you can't network. When you understand what it means to be an introvert and you get on board with that and you embrace it and you understand your strengths, then you get into alignment. And when you get into alignment with whatever it is, there's less resistance. You're not having to fight against, the things that are not designed for you. You're not having to fight against processes and pathways that aren't aligned to to how you work, to how you view things. You're not having to pretend to be somebody that you're not. You're not having to fake it till you make it. You're not having to just be filled with doubt and like make yourself do things. When you are in alignment, you're in the flow. And when you're in the flow, things get easier. Again, it doesn't mean that you're not working hard. It doesn't mean that you're not putting in effort. It just means that the effort that you're putting in and the work that you're doing is in alignment. So there's less resistance and it's a lot easier. So that's what that means. As a society, I think we view easy as, again, being no effort. I don't have to do anything. It just happens. And that's not what it is. But if you believe that to be the case, you're going to fight. So again, more resistance. You're going to fight this concept that by getting into alignment, it can be easier. You're going to fight that. You're not going to be open to it. So you're not going to be able to experience it, which is really a shame, because that's when you're going to start to quantum leap. That's when things are going to start to happen that you didn't realize could happen. And again, that feeds into this idea of that's getting easier. So just to give you an example, this isn't actually about business or anything like that, but probably with I think most women, we've gone through our lives like trying to lose weight, trying to, be a certain size. And we basically collectively accept this idea that losing weight is hard. And I bought into that for a long time because it was very hard. I would go up and down with my weight. And then once I got into my 40s, everything that used to work in my 20s and 30s to lose weight just didn't work anymore. It didn't work. And so I started to just say, okay, this is I don't even know how to do this. This is really hard. Nothing's working. And I thought, well, you know what they say, when you get in your 40s, you're just going to gain weight, and it's easier to gain weight and it's hard to lose weight. And so I just bought all of that. And then earlier this year, I ended up with like my annual physical. My blood sugar was a little high. And so the doctor was like, you got to lose some weight. You got to cut out the sugar. You got to, cut out the carbs, like the white starchy carbs and things like that. And because diabetes runs pretty strongly in my family, that was a huge wake up call for me. And so I immediately was like, I'm changing everything. I'm changing what I'm eating, and I'm changing, I'm just going to get more workouts in. But what I did is I didn't focus on the weight loss. That wasn't even part of what I was thinking of. I didn't focus on, punishing myself. I wasn't measuring food or weighing food or restricting you can't eat after whatever time. The only thing I restricted was obviously the excess sugar and the white starchy carbs. But other than that, if I was hungry, I ate. I explored different ways to eat. And I found a way to work out that I actually really loved. So it didn't feel like working out to me. It was actually just a lot of fun. And over the last 7 months, I lost 40 pounds. And when I say that, it blows my mind because I can't believe that I've lost 40 pounds. I'm back at the size that I was in my 20s. And that astounds me because in the past, That took a lot of work. It was very hard. It wasn't easy. And I beat myself up a lot along the way. Whereas this time, it's felt really easy. Like I have to remind myself, no, I actually did put in effort, obviously. I've been working out. I've changed what I've eaten. I've definitely put in effort, but it didn't feel like it because I was in alignment with what was working for me. I wasn't focused on like the scale. I was in alignment with a goal that meant something to me, like my blood sugar and my overall health. I found a way to work out that didn't feel like working out, so I didn't have to resist it or force it or make it happen. I didn't try to punish myself. There were times when I hit plateaus. And instead of doing what like the diet industry always says, like cut out more things, restrict this, change that, add in more workouts, do this, do that, I was just like, well, if this is where my body wants to go, then I'm going to bless it. And this is where my body's going to be. And that's okay. I didn't change anything to cause the plateau. I didn't change anything to get out of the plateau. I just accepted, surrendered, allowed, and just kept doing, just staying in the flow and staying in alignment. And inevitably, every single time I plateaued within a week, maybe 2 weeks, I think one time it was 3 weeks, I started to lose again. I didn't change anything. I just allowed. And now, 40 pounds later, it just has felt effortless because even though, again, I did put in effort, I didn't just sit on the couch and do nothing. So that's what, when it comes to things being easy, we can experience that in all areas of our life when we get into alignment with what works for our mind, body, and spirit, regardless of what it is. Things can be easy even when you're putting in effort and working really, really hard. And so I wanted to bring that to the conversation today because I want it to be something that you think about differently, that you explore within yourself differently to see where you can open up to making things easier in your life. And the way you can do that is think about, where are things feeling hard? Where is it feeling like you're having to put in tons of work to get a little bit of results, if any? Where is it feeling like you're having to push yourself, you should yourself, restrict yourself, whatever it is? Where are you feeling that there has to be a lot of force and a lot of effort that maybe doesn't necessarily feel right? And then explore that through the lens of like, what could this look like in alignment? What's missing here? Where could I make this feel more fun? Where could I make this feel easier even by doing work? What would feel right to me? What's my path? Maybe what are my values? Maybe some of that resistance is because you're bumping into a value. You're sacrificing one of your values. You're not honoring one of your values. So there's a lot of different ways that you could be making your things harder for yourself than they need to be. But use this as an opportunity to be inspired to explore things in your life to see where you can make some of those needed changes. And if that's something that you need help with, that's what, whether it's me or another coach, hire somebody to help you with that. I would be honored to help you with that. But definitely be open to the idea that ease, all of that is something that you can have in your life. And it doesn't have to mean that you're just giving up and not trying anything. Be open to the idea that there is a different way to do things where you are putting in effort, but it feels really good. It doesn't feel hard. And it feels easy and you're getting the results that you want. So play with that idea. If you have questions or comments, let me know. And if you would like to work with me or explore working with me, I'm going to leave a link where you can schedule a free complimentary one-on-one strategy session. It's an introvert awareness and expansion call. And we will take a look at where maybe some of your beliefs are getting in the way, where you are not finding that ease and where you're blocking yourself. And we can also explore how we can work together. So I will leave the link below, but for now, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you found this helpful. And if so, if you feel like there's anybody else that needs to hear this message, please share it with them and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can get updates on when new episodes come out every other week. So thanks.